Great Awakening. So I am coming to you live and direct before I take my butt to sleep. And oh, you may or may not. I've been working on my audio so that you can hear, but if you can't hear, just make sure you tune in. I'll make sure that I make my half as colorful as possible. But I want to dive in this morning because have something very important and a very important guest here in spirit. And actually, guys, y'all used to this. I'm gonna need y'all to pray for my dude, Mr. Bukele. I think that's his name. And if anybody got something to say about my hair, y'all can come help me put my sister locks in. Other than that, I'm a work in progress. So anyway, I need y'all to pray for my homeboy, Mr. Bukele. He is the president of El Salvador. And he has come here and he has spilled the beans. A lot of people don't know or don't realize what's going on because we are constantly distracted and overstimulated with things that just don't bring any productivity to our lives. One thing being these diss tracks or beefs between rappers and artists and politicians, like all of this beef that's going on is actually one of the biggest distractions from what's really happening behind the scenes. So I'm not going to say it, but what I do want to do is share with you uh, what Mr. Bukele said. The president of El Salvador has come here to our country, and he has made some claims. And I just like to see what your thoughts are. Maybe somebody has thought about this before, maybe you haven't. But how do you feel about this? And the whole purpose of our show is not only to figure out how you feel about it, but how do we move accordingly? Like once you realize, okay, this is what the situation is, this is what I'm dealing with, this is the environment I'm in, how do I move so that I'm protected, my wealth is protected, my family is protected, my future is protected, what have you. So without further ado, we are going to share. So I'm going to share it here with my online family first. So we are going to share, and hopefully you guys can hear. If not, I'm going to give a little commentary. So don't worry, I'll fill you in. So first, we'll start here.
Of course, high taxes are extremely high here in the United States. I give you that. You're right in that. But that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government.
Okay, so the first thing that this is not the first thing he said, but this is the first thing that I decided to cover today. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is high taxes. And he's from El Salvador. Everybody understands that different places around the world, yes, they have their inflation issues, taxes, or whatever. But everyone understands also that here in America, us Americans are definitely paying the fees for things that we're not reaping the benefits for. So, high taxes. All right, let's keep going.
Not even those high taxes, higher than a lot of places in the world, not even those taxes are really funding the government.
So this is one of the key pieces when he says these high taxes are not funding the government. So then he goes to say, his next question is, so who's financing the government? So let's see.
So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds, paper.
The government is financed by treasury bonds. Anybody familiar with treasury bonds? Okay, if you are not, they are bonds that the government owns, and they that's what they are. They're treasury bonds. They're bonds owned by the treasury. All right.
Paper.
Paper.
And who buys the treasury bonds?
Who buys
Mostly
treasury
the Fed.
bonds? Mostly the
And how
Fed.
does the Fed buy them?
How
By
does the Fed
printing
buy
money.
bonds? Printing
But
money.
what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed?
Now, what backing does the federal government have for printing the money? Now, way, way, way back, as my son would say, back in the day, we used to be on this thing called the gold standard. And the current president at the time, they were like, okay, everybody, you're going to turn in your gold, your pieces of gold, and I'm going to give you like $1 for each coin. So at that time, each dollar was worth whatever that gold coin was. It was like worth its weight in gold. This was like back in, somebody help me out, whatever year it was, that's what happened. All right.
The treasury bonds themselves. So basically, you finance the government by printing money out of thin air. Someone could ask, someone could ask, well, so if the government can print the limited amounts of money out of thin air, why did they collect taxes?
So basically, the government prints the money out of thin air to buy its own treasury bonds to keep itself, I guess, in business. So somebody might have the question like, okay, so everybody knows we print money. So if we print money, why is it that we like borrow money if we can print our own? That's one question. Um, we can print unlimited amounts of money. Like we have the machines here in the States. They're not in China. We don't have to like buy it at a discounted rate and get them shipped over here, the dollars. Like we can pretty much print them. They're digital. They can just create it out of thin air. So why do we pay taxes, American people? Can somebody answer me this, riddle me this? Why do we pay taxes? I even heard I had a flat tire this morning on my way to Chicago, and I stopped by one of the nicest back road mechanic shops that I've been to, and I love back road mechanic shops. They're always awesome, and even they were like, hold on, I forgot. I was so impressed by this mechanic shop. They were so cool. So we went to I went to the mechanic shop. I mean, we had such a powerful conversation. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I was going with this, but it had something to do with taxes. Oh, so no, this guy says, and his name was Bubba. Okay, so y'all anywhere like right before you get to Chicago, if you're having tire troubles or whatever, get off. This is my favorite exit to get off at on my way to Chicago because it's normally the cheapest gas in the state. Now, I have come across a gas maybe, 5 or 6 cents less. But anyway, so I get off at this exit. You get off at that exit, you make a right, you go down a couple miles, you make a left. There's this place. So Bubba proceeds to tell me, well, we're not we're not really required to pay taxes as American citizens. And I'm like, you don't say. He's like, yeah, well, yeah, honestly, you sign up to pay taxes when you sign your W-2, but other than that, you're not legally required to pay taxes. I was like, all right, Bubba, let me find out. Let me find out, Bubba. You've been sitting up here doing your homework. You've been researching, and Bubba was on point. I am not gonna lie. I need to make sure I go back and see Bubba before we leave. I might have to introduce y'all to Bubba because Bubba was off the chain. Bubba was dropping jewels like the whole time I was there, waiting on my tire to get done. So yeah, Bubba was like, so somebody look into that for me. He said that there's a law or something like that that legally we are not required to pay taxes. We do this voluntarily and we sign up through W-2s. This is what Bubba says. So y'all do some research for me. I'm gonna do some research and we're gonna find out if there was any truth to what Bubba was talking about. So here's the question. We're gonna go back to Mr. Bukele. Y'all, please don't laugh at my hair. I'm telling y'all, I'm going through it right now. So Mr. Bukele, um,
You're right in that.
Mr. Bukele. That's why I say y'all pray for Mr. Bukele, because Mr. Bukele, he asked some pretty tough questions. And you heard a few people screaming out in the crowd, but I'm like, y'all, please pray for my brother, Mr. Bukele, because he didn't came to America. He ain't scared of nothing. Like, he was the murder capital of the world in El Salvador. So he's gone to that country, turned this thing around, put some systems in place, and at least lost that title of murder capital, I hope. So anyway, he then came over here to the States and just proceeded to tell us about ourselves. Okay, so let's keep going.
Out of thin air. Why did they collect taxes?
Don't make sense. Don't make sense.
I mean, in theory, it would make sense, right? If they can print unlimited amounts of money, why would they need taxes for? The answer is simple, but it's very shocking. The real problem is that you pay high taxes only to uphold the illusion that you are funding the government, which you are not.
So here is the answer to his question. If our government can print unlimited amount of money, then why do we have to work extra hard and have money taken out of our paycheck for taxes, pay taxes on every single thing that we buy? Why are we paying taxes? So the answer is to uphold an illusion that we are funding the government when we are not. Mr. Bukele got up on stage right there. You can't see him over there, but Mr. Bukele got up on stage and said this. So now he's saying this to the whole world. Like, again, this is something that's very, very evident. If you open up your eyes and you see the amount of spending, you see the amount of money that we give away as a country, you see the amount of work that you have to put in and how much of that you actually get to reap the benefits of, then you would kind of realize, okay, there is something fishy going on here, right? But most people that I talk to, when I bring up this conversation, they're like, yeah, I know, but what are you going to do? This is life. And I just kind of put my head down and keep on working, and hopefully everything will be fine. And, the good Lord, and I'll do this later. So that's what I hear a whole lot, more often than not. Now, that's pretty sad. But otherwise, I think that a lot of people in certain types of communities are not even aware of the situations going on here in our own government, here in our own community, in our own country. Too many people, and maybe it's just my feed. I don't know, because I don't feed into these things. So I don't understand why, when I open up my Facebook page, the first thing I see is somebody commenting on some Kendrick Lamar or some Cardi B or some Keisha Cole. And I'm like, you guys are putting so much energy into someone else's life and what they are or are not doing, where they're vacationing, what their family's doing. And it's like, and it's okay. Curiosity is totally normal, when you can turn that into creativity. But what I am noticing is there are a lot of curious people, but you're curious for the wrong things. You want to know what Keisha Cole is doing, or how she's reacting, or why she deleted her page, or why so and so did this, or why, what's Trump doing. Like, everybody's just so wrapped up in politics and beef and distractions and games and vacations and holidays and national this day, national that day. Y'all don't see how distracted you really are, because you're so busy damn celebrating every time you turn around. So every dollar you're getting in is constantly going back out. Why? Because you have to celebrate. The government already knows, they already have an idea of how much you're going to spend on this particular holiday. So I just wish that more people would wake up, stop giving energy to things that do not do you justice. Stop giving energy to things, people, situations that do not make you better. We'll just say that in simple terms. If these things that you're consuming don't make you a better human being, then it's possible you should reconsider what you are consuming. It's okay to say, you know what? I used to be involved in this. This used to excite me. This used to distract me. Like, this is all a part of growth. And what I'm noticing as I am in my 40/40 club already, I'm noticing a lot of people that I went to school with and my husband went to school with, they're pretty much doing the same thing and getting the same results and not really understanding why. And then their plan is still to do yet the same thing. So I just want this to be a wake up call, whatever time it is where you are. I know it's 5 a.m. Central Time, 5:05. So really take a moment to reevaluate yourself, what you're giving energy to, who you're giving energy to, what you're ingesting, um, visually, audio, of course, food is a major part. So, guys, we got a lot to work on. We really don't have time to waste. We don't have time to be playing around, scrolling, sharing stupid stuff. We really don't even have time to be partying and vacationing at this moment. So, I'm going to get back to Mr. Bukele, the president of El Salvador, so we can let him finish up his bombs that he was dropping. No puns intended, but he's dropping some bombs here. And it shouldn't take a man from a little country in El Salvador to come here and open these American eyes to what's been happening. And we're here. And y'all don't realize people across the world, except us, are laughing at us. And they're like, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with those Americans? Why? What are they doing? Are they mad? Well, they're obviously mad because we are no longer on the top 20 happiest countries to be in the world. Um, so anyway, without further ado, we're going to let Mr. Bukele speak. And again, please keep him in your prayers because this man right here has balls of steel, and he has said some things that a lot of people have said in so many words, but a lot of people are still scared to say and put on the front line out of fear of being. I mean, honestly, as he's saying this, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's not a bullet flying up there right now. Okay. So like people get afraid of being assassinated. Like, hey, don't come to my country talking that stuff. Don't be trying to wake my people up. They do it to the people here. If you are here and you got too much to say and you want to, get people too much on the right direction, then you might end up killing yourself and your family, or your brakes might go out, or you might get, poisoned or whatever. So it's like, pray for Mr. Bukele. Let me go ahead and finish up because I got to get some rest myself. It's shocking, but it's true.
But it's true.
Yes, it is.
The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst.
The government is funded by paper backed by paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. So I'm not talking to everyone from a political point of view. I'm talking from a human being point of view, from a get your shit together point of view. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Get yourself together point of view that you need to immediately stop giving energy and attention to things that are not going to make you a better person. Because the way things are going right now, with the economic climate in this country, with the dollar crashing and burning, with people losing their homes. Have you guys noticed the taxes are just increasing every March, and payments are going up? That was great that you were able to get your mortgage at a great low rate, where they were giving houses away. But taxes are going up. Some people's interest rates are going up. I think some people got on like adjustable rate mortgages. So, I mean, basically you're being priced out of the little piece of asset that you thought you was going to have. You're being priced out of it way before your time. You think you would at least be able to spend 10, 20, 30 years in the house, at least almost pay that mug off. I was about to say the B word, but you almost want to pay that mug off. But the way things are going, I'm just saying, guys, we are going through a shift, and we all need to recognize that a lot of us need to change our behaviors, change our thought patterns, our mindsets, the way that we interact with each other, the relationship that we have with these paperbacks, back with paper. Like, you keep spending 40 hours or 60 hours or 80 hours of your week to get these paperbacks, and you have been falsely told that, oh, well, you work hard, you deserve it. Go ahead, ball out, go to the club, go get your favorite shoes. Oh yeah, them new Nikes coming out. Go stand in line for that. And we got generations growing up doing this stupid stuff. Unfortunately, their parents are showing them that it's okay. Their parents doing the same thing. All their parents want to do was be able to give them the shoes they never had. So the examples are skewed, and then, adults and children alike are being influenced and distracted. And those two make a very mean combination. I am a very empathetic person, and I'd like to think that I have my head on pretty damn straight. However, I also am not religious, but I do understand that we are one. And just because I have my mental state together, that does me no good when I'm surrounded by people who don't. That is why it is important that everybody get their stuff together, and expeditiously. If this little man, Mr. Bukele, from the murder capital of the world, had to come here and say out loud that your government is lying to you, you're paying unnecessary taxes, you're being led to believe that your taxes are funding your government, when in reality, they're just printing more and more and more and more money, and you're just paying more and more and more taxes. And this is going to go on and on and on until the bubble inevitably bursts. And I don't know about y'all, but again, this is why we have to understand the oneness of us all, because we are here in this place called America that used to be the greatest country on earth. We lost that title back in 1986. This was no longer the best place to live or be born. It started declining. So It's just important that we collectively come together, understand that what we're putting so much energy into, even if you have a great job, you're making great money, um, maybe reevaluate where you're putting that money right now. It was cute having the vacations and going out to eat and drinking and having your little apartment or your little rental. That used to be like, okay, it was a little bit cute, for you to say, oh, I got my own apartment. That shit is not cute these days. It's not. And newsflash, there's no such thing as your own apartment unless you just bought a condo. You don't have your own apartment. It's not yours. You're borrowing it. You're on borrowed time. You're on borrowed time. So let's get our vocabulary together and let's start initiating trying to own some things while your dollar still has a little bit of value. Start putting those dollars into some places. I don't know what to tell you, but you better get it together soon. Stop throwing your money away on these restaurants that are feeding you trash and poison. You're buying all these toys for these kids. Read the labels. A lot of them have cancer warnings. um, the kids, I'm not going to say they don't deserve all these toys, but if they're not going to make them better beings, y'all need to kind of scratch some of that right now. Like, you overdoing it with the damn toys with the kids. Don't overdo it. Give them the things that they need in life to survive. Because at the end of the day, with this paperbacking, our children and grandchildren will still be paying this debt that this great country is currently piling on. So if you don't get your together and start being an example to the ones that are watching you, then we all perish. We all lose. I lose because maybe I am off grid. Maybe I am growing my own food and I have my own fresh water and my own utilities. So I have no bills and I have no this and I have no that. But think about all the family that I couldn't help, that I'll never see again, that never got it, that partied their life away, that worked their life away to no end, worked until they died. Like, that is a lot to carry. That is a lot to carry. So we must understand that we are one. This country, the people that have been in charge have been pulling the wool over our eyes when it comes to why we're working so hard, what these funds are going to, and why our nation is in the condition that it's in. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? These kids that can't read. I'm looking for that word. Literacy numbers. It's terrible. So our kids are failing. Our dollar is failing. Our country is failing. Our country is failing. So it's going to be up to us, not Biden, not Trump, not Mr. Bukele, but it's going to be up to us individually to stop feeding into that bull Stop scrolling. Stop giving it energy. Stop giving these little girls, just because they take a picture bent over with their clothes off, you want to give it 5,000 like, 10,000 like, millions of views. See, y'all giving these little hood rats attention is paving the way for the next generation of hood rats that think that it's just important that I, just look good. And as long as I can flaunt it, I'll get what I want and get what I need. And I'll just get by in life like that. That's what this is. That's all I'm seeing. If you can put up a OnlyFans or do all this stuff, and all you got to do is just use your body and just, take your clothes off and bend in the right position in the right light, and you can make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Yet I am here in the streets of Southside Chicago, walking, running into schools, meeting with teachers, protecting teachers, explaining benefits. I'm doing everything I can possibly under the sun to educate educators to make a couple $1,000s a month. But I'm out here. I'm out here in the trenches. We're in a world now where you could just sit at home and do stupid stuff and your bank account going crazy. We are in some crazy times. We are in some crazy times, but that's what happens when paper is backing paper. So I'm gonna let Mr. Bukele finish up because I want to make sure everybody gets this message without me talking over it. But this is how it is because I couldn't really get nobody on the line, so I got to talk to myself, me and Mr. Bukele. All right.
The situation is even worse than it seems. Because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost.
So the next line that he says is, if Americans and the rest of the world would become aware of this situation, that our government has been lying to us, that, they just print money to keep themselves going, and they just charge us taxes higher and higher and higher, so that we basically have to work until we die, then confidence in our currency would be lost. Now he's saying that this is as of, I think this was May 10th, maybe a few days ago. Confidence in the currency would be lost. How many people think that that's already happened? The confidence in the currency been lost. The confidence in the currency was lost when the gold standard was lost. We are just in the pits of it now. So, but it's funny how we're in the pits of that, but yet we have 3 or 4 holidays every single month. We got National Donut Day, National Pizza Day, National Queer Day, National Light Day, National Door Day, We got all these different things to keep you distracted. We got beef. We got Kanye. Shout out to Kanye. We share the same birthday. We both a little cuckoo. That's all right, though. We are very creative people. But you've got many, 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 many things to keep you distracted while you're not at work, or while you're at work, because we noticed that a lot of y'all at work watching all this crazy stuff. It's important. Keep going to work, keep doing what you're doing, but where you put your dollars from this day forward is going to be so important. Because I'm telling y'all, don't be emailing and calling me looking for a handout. I ain't got it. Especially when you out going to eat, you out taking vacations, you flying here and flying there and doing what you do, and you got the new J's and you got the new D's and you got the new that. Do you? Please. Go ahead and live it up. Live it up. Live it up. Don't call me though. Because I'm telling you now, put your money in a place that's going to bring it back to you, because it's not worth anything. So right now, while you still have the time and there's still a structure in place, go get you a piece of land. If you can't do nothing else, go get you a plot of something. Because whether you're forced into off-gridism or you choose it on your own. I just think it's going to be coming. And for some of us, it's already here. Some people have been forced into off grid. Being homeless, that's off grid. That's no lights, that's no water, no roof. Homelessness is up. Homelessness, I believe, has doubled among seniors. Y'all, it's going crazy. Just because it ain't happened to you yet, just because you're not affected right this moment, I'm telling you now, start doing smarter things with your dollars. Stop eating out. Stop spending $30, $40 a plate for some poison that's about to make you sick. Quit feeding into all these shoes. Man, look, I'm going to tell you this. My daughters, and they probably don't like me to this day. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But I will tell you this. I ain't never spent more than $25 on their tennis shoes. And I'm going to tell you where I go. Goodwill and Plato's Closet. It makes absolutely no sense for you to spend 180, 150. Why are you spending that much money on a child that's probably ungrateful, even if they might not act like it now? Why are you spending all that money on them? Oh, because that's what they asked for. That's what'll make them happy. I want to make sure that they got what I ain't never have. I want to make sure. Okay, but y'all in an apartment. You don't own anything. Maybe you should not use that 150 on those shoes and open up your child a LLC and show them how to go get it on their own if they want something that's ridiculously stupid like that. But you show them, oh no, this is not how we use money. We don't use money to buy frivolous little stupid stuff, outfits that match, and we got to make sure we have the matching shirt and the matching. No, you buy clothes that fit you, that serve a purpose, and you want to spend the least amount possible. Yeah, you want quality things. Yes, I agree with that. But it makes no sense, especially these growing kids. These kids is growing up and they growing up with Jordans and all this stuff. These little, man, I'm telling you, find one of my kids out there and ask them if I ever fed into that. The answer is no. But they always look nice. They always dress nice. They always had nice shoes on their feet, nice clothes on their back, always was clean, always ate clean. They don't eat clean now. They ain't in my house. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But if you go in my house on my watch, you're going to learn how to do life the right way. It's not the only way, but it's going to be the way that in the long run is going to make your life easier. Invest. Invest. Invest, invest, invest. Again, it's a little late in the game, guys. If you still in an apartment, I'm not about to tell you go buy a house. I'm not going to tell you to go get a mortgage. Please don't do that. And please don't ever act like I sold you to do that, because I ain't ever going to tell you to do that. I will tell you to go buy you a plot of land, put you a camper on it, and you make it work. You make it do what it do from there. I will encourage you to do that, but I will never tell you, oh, you in an apartment? Okay, well, go ahead and get you a house. Oh, yeah, now you a homeowner. You can hold that big old piece of key thing, and then, everybody going to give all these likes and stuff on Facebook. Oh, girl, look at you. You got your house. Look at what you manifested. Look at God. You know what I'm saying? Look at God. Look what God did. Yeah, but see, God is not the one who writes that mortgage, who goes up on those rates, who goes up on those taxes. Who you going to blame for that? So now it's the devil? But no, it's the same people. So I'm just saying, I'm getting excited. All I'm saying is take a look at your financial situation. Understand that, yes, things might have been nice and cool and whatever in the past, but the shift is hitting the fan. It has hit the fan. And you need to be making decisions that are not going to only help you survive and be successful, but whoever you care about. whoever you love, whoever you're with, whoever's riding on this thing called life with you. Like, really, really take this into account. Please stop drinking so damn much, because it's clouding your brain and your judgment. You like, oh, I worked all week, I at least need to drink. No, please stop doing that, because you're wasting valuable time and energy and money that you will never get back. I need to let Mr. Bukele finish, or whatever, Bukele, Bukele. I just added some letters into his name, but let me let him finish. What he is saying is, if and once we all become aware of this situation with our dollar, the confidence in our currency will be lost.
The dollar will fall, and the
The
Western
dollar will fall,
civilization with it.
and Western civilization
If
with
the
it.
next president of the United States doesn't make the necessary policies and structural changes, sooner or later that bubble will burst. There's still time. You don't have to make the same mistakes we did in the 60s and the 70s. You can still jump before the water boils. Winning the election isn't enough to solve these problems. They will not simply go away as a consequence of an electoral result. It would take a total re-engineering of the government, top to bottom. It will entail making difficult decisions, like the ones we made in El Salvador since 2019, and they're already paying off. It will be hard. The system will push back, but you have the right to determine your own fate.
I'm going to leave it right there. You have the right to determine your own fate. I am a firm believer in that. I'm an unbeliever, so I'm not a traditional believer, but I do believe that you order your steps. You decide whether you're going to take those steps or not, whether you're going to back up or whether you're going to stay still. So, again, I wish everyone the best. I want everyone to send up some protective vibes and energy for Mr. Bukele, for El Salvador, for our world that is in turmoil, for so many people that are distracted, so many people that are engulfed in their greed to the point where they're willing to hurt each other. Like we have to change that, but it's gonna be like one by one. So that is all for today. That is all for today. But I gotta get some rest. Y'all know my schedule is like my schedule. So I gotta finish my hair. Again, if anybody wants to come and help me, I am paying, but you need to be in the Chicago area because I can't really pay for too much travel. But if you're around here, please help a sister out because I'm also struggling, but I will pay you. So yeah, y'all make sure that you guys pay attention to what you're paying attention to.
Every day, get you some money, get you some money, get you some money. My religion's true, my time's to take. Got a bag full of money like I robbed the bank. On that real boss shit, pull the rank. You already know I'm going for the shift change.